Zachary falls into an I don't know how to read, apparently. Which is ironic since, like, I have a reading channel. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chia, and in today's video, we're going to be doing our monthly TBR picks from a prompt jar, but this time for April. It's already literally spring, and I can't believe we're already here, about to be in April of 2026. I don't know where this time is going, but here we are again. Let's get started because I do want to talk about a few new releases that I'm anticipating that are coming out in April that I'm hoping to put on my monthly TBR because those will be the ones I'm prioritizing. I will still choose 5 prompts from the prompt jar, but I don't know if I'm going to get to everything next month because there are so many new releases that I'm looking forward to. The first one that's coming out in April is Rights of the Starling by Devney Perry. That is the sequel to Shield of Sparrows. I loved Shield of Sparrows last year. I gave it a 4.5. I thought it was a great fantasy with like the bit of romance in the background, and it was like one of my favorite reads of last year, and I can't wait to see what the conclusion is because there was a big cliffhanger that left on the end, and I want to say it's a trilogy or duology. I want to say it's a duology. I'm not too sure, but we'll find out. That one comes out on April 7th, and then the one after that is coming out on April 14th, and The Thorn Queen, which is by Sasha Payne Smith, and it's the sequel to Rose Bargain. I talked about how much I love the Rose Bargain from last year, how I didn't expect it to be such a huge like love for me last year. It's like a YA Regency fairy tale, like fae romance. I loved it so much, and the ending was crazy, so I can't wait to get to that one. And then the third book that I'm anticipating that's coming out in April, on April 28th actually, is The Sea Spinner by Julie Johnson. That is a sequel to The Wind Weaver that I read back in January, I believe. I'm so anticipated to see that one because I've heard from early ARC readers that we are getting exploration more of the other half of the romance also that I really particularly am going for, and also the other part of the world that includes this other plot of magic that I really want to know more about. And then not only that, but I talked about this in last month's TBR. Abby Jimenez's last book that just came out is called The Night We Met. I doubt I'm gonna like pick it up for March, so it probably will also go on my April TBR. We're heading into that part of the year where so many new releases are coming out back to back, and May is filled one too, so is June, and also July, August, and September, and then also of course all the fall reads that are coming out. It's just crazy, so I'm trying to read the books as they come out because I feel if I don't read them when it's like coming out, I will keep pushing them off to like the next month and the next month, and it's just gonna pile on top of me with all the other releases that are coming out, so I'm trying to keep up with them. Let's hope that I can finish my TBR and also read all my new releases, so we shall see. But besides that, let's get started and pick out the prompts. As an update for my March TBR right now, I've already finished 4 out of the 5, and I'm a quarter of the way of the last book, so I'm hoping to finish it by the end of March. It is currently the 25th of March right now, so I still have a few days to finish. I'm very confident that I can. So the first prompt will be, I'm gonna pick in the middle this time because I'm always picking from the top. It's only fair that I choose the one that falls out, you know? As usual, guys read first. A book with no people on the cover. Okay, that's easy because I have a lot of books that have no people on the cover, so what are the options? Do hands count? I guess it's a part of a person, so let's just say it does not count, so that can't be it. I've been really wanting to pick this up. Marie Lu, Red City. This one's like an urban fantasy that's like alchemical book, so that's an option. I wanted to pick this up, but there's like a person right there. I could continue on with Erin Morgenstern's second book, The Starless Sea. I heard it's another fantastical one. Parnassi has Parnassi on the front. I could finally pick up Light Lark, but oh my gosh. See, I'm doing it again where I'm literally picking up books that are starting new series. Actually, I have been wanting to really pick this up because this was popular for years before I started reading, and also this is a duology. I wouldn't be starting too big of a series, so Air of Illusion. I think this is another series that starts, so Fae Assassin with the Power of Illusion. Maybe not. Dagger in the Flame. Nope, there's people on the cover. Juniper and Thorn has a person. This one's a standalone. You know what? Let's pick between the two. I don't want to start a new series, so let's put that aside for now. Maria Lu, again, I'm not going to start another series, so let's just put that away for now. And Starless Sea is another standalone. So is The Scholar Last Fairy Door. Strange the Dreamer. No, I think I'm going to put this aside for now because, again, I don't want to start a new series. So let's see. Let's read both the synopses on the back to see, because these are both standalones and there's no people on the cover. Okay, so this one is The Starless Sea. I heard this one's like a story within a story, and so I would have read both Aaron Morgenstern's books, and I absolutely love The Night Circus. So this one says, far beneath the surface of the earth, upon the shores of the Starless Sea, there is a labyrinthine collection of tunnels and rooms filled with stories. The entryways that lead to the sanctuary are often hidden, but those who seek will find. Their doors have been waiting for them. Zachary Ezra Rollins is searching for his door, though he does not know it. When he discovers a mysterious book in the stacks of his campus library, he begins to read and is entranced. Suddenly, a turn of the page brings Zachary to a story from his own childhood. A bee, a key, and a sword emblazoned on the book leads Zachary to two people who will change the course of his life. Maribel, a fierce pink-haired painter, and Dorian, a handsome barefoot man with shifting alliances. Amid twisting tunnels filled with books, gilded ballrooms, and wine-dark shores, Zachary falls into an I don't know how to read, apparently. Which is ironic since, like, I have a reading channel. Zachary falls into an intoxicating world soaked in romance and mystery, but a battle is raging over the fate of this place, and though there are those who would willingly sacrifice everything to protect it, there are just as many intent on its destruction. As Zachary, Maribel, and Dorian venture deeper into the space and its histories and myths, searching for answers in one another, a timeless story unspools, casting a spell of pirates, painters, lovers, liars, and ships that sail upon a starless sea. Ooh! And also, this one is The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door by H. Steve Perry. All they need to break the world was a door and someone to open it. Camford, 1920, gilded and glittering England's secret magical academy is no place for Clover, a commoner. She's there only to find a cure for her brother Matthew, one of the few survivors of a deadly fairy attack on the battlefields of World War I. When Clover catches the eyes of Golden Boy Alden Lennox Fontaine and his friends, doors that were previously closed to her are flung wide open, but during the summer she spends in Alden's orbit. Old and deadly secrets are unearthed. The consequences will only be truly understood many years later when it's too late. It's an academic setting, but it does take place in sort of like summer, it says. I think I'm reaching for this one. The first book picked for the April TBR is The Starless Sea by Aaron Morgenstern. Okay, next prompt. A book with a great first sentence. Let me go grab a few books that I feel like would have a great first sentence. I'll be back. I grabbed a few that are standalones, so a lot of them I don't want to be starting series again because I'm still contained in a bunch of other series. Great first sentence, let's see. This Far Wilder Magic. I've had this for a while. I've had it since the beginning of my reading journey again, so... Oh, I thought that said Bridgerton right here. I thought that said Bridgerton right there, but it's Bridgeton. Oh my gosh. Anyways, Margaret shouldn't be outside tonight. Apparently Margaret should not be outside tonight. Alright. Stage Set for Villains. This is another new release that I've been hearing so many amazing things about. For as long as I can remember, we have feared the players. Apparently this like set in like a play sort of. This one has been on my shelf for a few months, but it's a chunker. I don't know if I want to read this right now, especially with all the new releases. Let's see the first sentence. And I think this is a part of a series. Once they made sacrifices here to appease the 8. There were sacrifices made for the 8. 8 of what? Okay, and then there's this one where it's a literary fiction, and it's The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoff. Sarah Caroli loves this book. This was her favorite book of last year, I think it is. And I do want to throw in a couple of literary fictions in there, so... First sentence. It starts with 1958. He's coloring a night sky on the underbelly of the kitchen table. So I'm assuming that's like a kid who's doing it. This is Air of Storms. I'm trying to read this around like summertime or summertime because it's about a girl who has water powers, I think. And look at that. Doesn't that scream summer to you? It's like the Little Mermaid castle. So let's see the first one. This is the Fairy Loot version, by the way. I got it from Pango. Prologue. For many, my birth meant death. Ooh, that's already more interesting than the other one, so that's a good option. And this one is another standalone. This one's sort of like a fairy tale kind of story. Emmy Rossum, she read it in her last like book where she read her Fairy Loot books. She's had nothing but amazing things saying about this, and I love fairy tale stories. And it's called The Sun and the Star Maker by Rachel Griffin. Oh, that's cool. We have a table of contents. I never really see table of contents anymore from like book. Prologue. Starcrossed. Deep in the mountains of the Lost Range, in a small village on the tallest peak, a young girl was listening to a bedtime story. It already sets it up where it's sort of like a fairy tale, and like since bedtime stories are more of the norm for fairy tales and everything, I think that sounds good. But the only thing about this that I don't really want to reach for is because look at that. It looks so snowy and it just doesn't scream spring or summer newcomer to me, so I might not pick this up yet. So might set that aside for now. I think this one had the most interesting sentence. So here I am again starting a new series. This book, if I just read it, there's no other book of it out yet, and I don't know if like there'll be another book this year, but I'm going to be picking Air of Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray. Let's read the synopsis. It says, when Blaze came into the world, she almost drowned it. Blaze, a rain singer, is born into one of the most powerful fire-wielding families in the Empire. Her birth summoned a devastating storm that resulted in deaths of thousands, and she has spent her life as an outsider, reviled and feared. When Blaze and her twin brother Flint are selected to compete in the Choosing Right, the trials which decide the future rulers of the Empire, she's suddenly thrust into the limelight and into battle. Threats abound at the Golden Palace, where intrigue and romance await with not one but two handsome suitors, so a love triangle, the enchanting crown prince, and a dangerously alluring newcomer at court. As her powers strengthen and her fellow competitors fall, the throne is suddenly within her grasp. But in order to take the crown, she'll have to leave behind the stories that others have told about her and find the courage to write her own. Okay, so second book, which is a book with a great first sentence, Air of Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray. Pick another prompt. A book set in your home state. Okay, so apparently this is set in like a place called Angel City, which is kind of like Los Angeles, and it's in California, and I'm from California. So I wonder if there's any, because I know that's in Sweden. A lot of these are fantastical worlds. I don't think this is set in California. The Bright Years is set in northern Texas. Okay, so nope, that's out. So I guess since it is based kind of on the fictional world for Angel City, and this is the closest, because I'm trying to think of all my other literary fictions, I don't think any of them are set in California. Yeah, everything else is set in the East Coast. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Okay, so technically, since this is set in Angel City, which is like sort of Los Angeles, Alchemy of Secrets would have been perfect for that, but since I read that a few months ago, it doesn't count. So let's just choose this. It's my channel, and that's the rules I want to do, so let's do it. Red City, first book, and Marie Lu is like the author of the Legendary series. That's a YA that came out, or dystopian that came out same time that I think Hunger Games came out, or a few years afterwards, and I always wanted to pick those books up, but at that point I was already like stopping reading for a little while, and I had no urge to pick any books up. I'm really excited about this one. When you win the game of power, who do you lose? Alchemy is the hidden art of transformation, an exclusive power wielded by crime syndicates that marketed to the world's elites in the form of sand, a drug that enhances those who take it into a more perfect version of themselves. More beautiful, more charismatic, simply more. Among the gleaming skyscrapers and rolling foothills of Angel City, Alchemy is controlled by two rival syndicates. For years, Grand Central and Luminous have been balanced on a razor's edge between polite negotiation and outright violence. But when two childhood friends step into that delicate equation, the city and the paths of their lives will be irrevocably changed. The daughter of a poor single mother, Sam, would do anything to claw her way into the ranks of Grand Central in search of a better life. Plucked away from his family as a boy to become a Luminous apprentice, Ari is one of the syndicate's brightest rising stars. Once they might have loved each other, but as the two alchemists face off across opposite sides of an ever-escalating conflict, ambition will become power, loyalty will become lies, and no transformation may be perfect enough for them both to survive the coming war. So I'm really excited about this one. So third book chosen. Fourth prompt. A book a friend recommended. I don't know if I have any books that my friend recommended. It's either I've read those already. My friend has recommended me Hamnet, but I want to focus on my physical TBR. I'm not trying to pick up any new books besides like obviously new releases, so I'm just going to put this back, and maybe once I'm down through my physical TBR, I can finally like pick up a book that one of my friends have recommended. So let's choose another prompt. A book with a mostly blue cover. Okay, so I swear I've tried to put this on multiple things. Watermoon, I've talked about this like a couple months ago. Definitely mostly blue. I could do Beartown, but I'm saving this for winter time because it is set in a Swedish town. So that one. Man Called Ove. Gosh, do I want to cry again? No, I don't know. That's an option, I guess. Oh my gosh. Ooh, yeah, I've just picked this up earlier. Yeah, Strange the Dreamer. No, that's mostly black. Trying to think. This is like grayish blue, so I feel like it doesn't count, right? Yeah, I don't think so. So let's put that back. I have anything on my shelf that's blue. It's been almost put on TBRs, but I'm just not in the mood for this, so no. Guys, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Gosh, there's so many books I'm starting. One of them is standalone, two is a series. But this one's a duology, and you know what? I'm gonna do it. It's called Strange the Dreamer. This has been out for a while. I think it's like one of the original romances or fantasy romance, because I know there's like a subplot of romance in here, and it came out in 2017. Okay, yeah, it's been out for a while, and I heard nothing but amazing things about Laini Taylor's writing, and this is one of her like most favorite series. And also, if I like this one, I do want to move on to also Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I think that's another series that she has completed. The synopsis: the dream chooses the dreamer. Laszlo Strange, war orphan and junior librarian, has been obsessed with the mythic lost city of Weep for as long as he can remember, but it would take someone bolder than he to cross half the world in search of it. Then a stunning opportunity presents itself in this person of a hero called the Godslayer and a band of legendary warriors, and he has to seize his chance or lose his dream forever. What happened in Weep 200 years ago to cut it off from the rest of the world? What exactly did the Godslayer say that went by the name of God? The answers await in Weep, but so do more mysteries, including the blue-skinned goddess who appears in Laszlo's dreams. How did he dream of her before he knew she existed? In this sweeping and breathtaking novel by National Book Award finalist Laini Taylor, the shadow of the past is as real as the ghosts who haunt the citadel of murdered gods. Fall into mythical world of dread and wonder, moths and nightmares, love and carnage. Ooh, okay, I'm excited for that. Fourth book is Strange the Dreamer, and let's choose our last prompt. The shortest book on your TBR. How many pages is this one? Oh, this is pretty short. 269, I mean. This one's short. All of these are like long fantasies, so they're not that short. 301. So Bright Years is short. Parentheses 245. I'm not in the mood to read this right now, so that's going back there. How many pages is Frederick Bachman? Or Man Called Ove? 337? No. Let's see. Half a Soul? Let's see how long this one is. I heard there's like a novella in here plus the actual story. 280. Okay, it looks like we're gonna do it. Parenesi is technically the shortest book on my TBR, but guys, I'm not in the mood for a classic right now. It's a modern classic apparently, and it's lyrical, really beautiful, and it's like a lot of metaphors here and there, but I'm just not in the mood for that one right now. Like I said, I do want to pick up a literary fiction in my TBR. And this one I've heard so many amazing things about, and I've been wanting to pick it up for a while. So Ryan and Lillian Bright are deeply in love, recently married and now parents to a baby girl, Georgette. But Lillian has a son she hasn't told Ryan about, and Ryan has an alcohol addiction he hasn't told Lillian about. So Georgette comes of age watching their marriage rise and fall. When a shocking blow scatters their fragile trio, Georgette tries to distance herself from reminders of her parents. Years later, Lillian's son comes searching for his birth family, so Georgette must return to her roots, unearth her family's history, and decide whether she can open up to love for them or herself while there's still time. Told from three intimate points of view, The Bright Years is a tender, true-to-life novel that explores the impact of each generation in a family torn apart by a tragedy, but over time restored by the power of grace and compassion. Oh, I love family dramas like this because learning about like the family dynamics, and also, like I said, I've been reaching for a lot of literary fiction lately. I wanted to break up all the fantasies that I'm reading this month because literally there's 4 fantasies I literally just chose for my April TBR plus this, but then the other 3 are also fantasies, but they're also continuing series. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. So I'm gonna choose The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoss. So that is all 5 of the books I've chosen. So for a book with no people on the cover, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. A book with a great first sentence, Air Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray. A book set in your home state, Red City by Marie Lu. A book with a mostly blue cover, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. And then the shortest book on your TBR, The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoss. And that is going to be the books on my monthly TBR for April. I'm so excited for April. I can't wait to see what I think of all the books that I pick up. And this has been so successful so far. Let's see if I can do 5 out of 5 for April and also my new releases. We shall see. But if you want more videos like this, like and subscribe. It really does help my channel out a lot. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!